You are now tuned in to the Property Management Show with your host, Alex Osanenko. We bring in the experts of today so you can be the master of tomorrow in all things property management. Whether it's getting more doors, running a profitable fee-based business, or by simply being the best property manager. So, grab a pen and paper because this episode is sure to be a good one. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Welcome to another episode of the Property Management Show. Those of you who are listening, wanted to say thank you very much. Thank you for your reviews on iTunes. It's humbling. We see our audience growing. We see the need for quality information, for sharing and making this industry really take a bite out of this huge opportunity, huge market out there. Steve and I, my guest and I were just talking, 75%, as most of you know. Some of you are actual landlords who are listening who self-manage, but 75% of properties here in the U.S. are being self-managed. We see a lot of battling going on for the 25% share, or 35% as we have it, at some depending on what your news source is. We want to go outside of that and actually tap into this large self-management market, which is absolutely ready to move into the professional hands. And a lot of different factors I discussed on podcasts in the past. One of them being economics. Tenants are being more and more protected by the government, and it's getting more and more difficult to self-manage. Baby boomers are getting older, want to just relax and not deal with tenants, toilets, and turnover, as my guest usually says. And so I brought Steve again, right? Steve Rozenberg is a often guest on the show. He's a friend. He's one of the guys that if we jump on a 12-hour plane, I don't think we'll shut up for the whole ride, and we'd both be better off. And he actually drives those planes, right? As his main gig or side gig. I don't know. Is that your side hustle, Steve? Piloting?
It's starting to become the piloting is starting to become a great part-time job. How's that? Is that a good way to put it?
That is really good. So yeah, no stranger to policies, procedures, checklist. As an airline pilot, I imagine it's very, very tightly controlled, and you have to really be absolutely organized, on top of your game, very sharp. So how you translating that into what's mesmerizing to me is how you translate that into your business, but I've added like this huge element of creativity because you do a lot. You do radio shows, you do videos, you do a lot of things that nobody else does that turn your company into this massive success that is in the making, success in the making, right? We all are.
Sure.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
My hat's off to you. And today let's treat our audience with some really, really good stuff. As you and I was on your radio show yesterday, just a short, like a background, or was it 2 days ago? I can't remember. And you said something about running, what do you call this, investor seminar series?
Owner education series.
Sorry, owner education series. And I latched onto that, even though we had different topics. I latched on. I'm like, hey, I want to know about this. And I think this is the opportunity, in a lot of ways, to go after the 75% self-managed market, which is it's not competitive out there. This is as Scott Brady calls, a blue ocean strategy, right? So why don't we dig in, Steve? You have been doing this for Empire. Tell us a little bit about like what started you into this, building the owner education series, and how you implement it, and what is it comprised of?
Sure. So the way it started was we started this owner education series. The way that we originally started it was we wanted our current clients to feel special. And we wanted to have it as a point of difference that we would give them something that maybe a competitor wouldn't give. And that something was the feeling of belonging to a club. So what people go towards clubs. You have, Costco, you have Sam's Club, you have airlines that have clubs, they have memberships. There's a reason that they do that, and they create these tribes. And people like to be a part of something, and they want to feel special, and they want to feel that they're treated special, because people don't leave your company for price. They leave because they feel you don't care. And statistically, 68% of people will leave your company because they feel that you don't care about them. Has nothing to do with the price point of what you offer. And obviously they equate price with value, and they don't see the value, so they leave. So we created this owner education series to go after our current owners, to help them feel special in the sense of these owners that are just like Pete and myself, that are investors, that own properties, that have questions, because we all know that there's no rule book when it comes to owning a rental property. And there's things that they want to know. And a lot of these people want to buy more properties or want to get into the property business, but they just don't know how to even get in, right? The Ferris wheel's spinning and they don't know where to jump on. And so by us having this owner education series, at first was for our current owners. So one thing that we did is we would grade our current owners, A through D, okay? So you want to grade your owners because D is a bad owner and a bad property. A C is a either or. It's either a bad owner or it's a bad property. It's one or the other. A B is a good owner, good property. They don't give you any problems. Whenever you have a maintenance issue or you have something, they're no problem at all. Just get it done. Those are good owners. An A is everything like that, but they refer people to you. So they're raving fans. So what we do is we try to say, okay, the D's unfortunately have to be fired at some point because they will suck the life out of your property managers and out of your team. And that is why people will leave, because they'll say, you guys just don't answer the phone. And it's not that they don't answer the phone. It's that they're on the phone all the time dealing with the D owner, and that D owner is never going to be happy. So we found, in order to empower our team, you give them the ability. They don't get to actually fire them, but they get to bring it up and say, look, this guy's a D owner because of this, 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 and this. And then the team can make a decision as to whether another property wants them because they get a revenue share of what they make. Or they can make a decision to, okay, we just got to get rid of this guy because he's the 80% that's sucking the life out of the company. So in any event, the C's, you try to become B's. You try to upgrade them to B's. And by doing that, you have the A's and B owners. So the first recommendation I feel that all property management companies or any company in general should grade their clients and spend it's the 80-20 rule. Spend the 80% of your time on the top 20% of your clients, because that's where you're making your money. You're making your money on the top tier, not the bottom tier. The way that you do that is so we go back to this owner education series. That owner education series is, you can do something where you can do a personal invite to the A and B owners, where you actually call them up and you say, hey, you're a valued client. We're doing an education event. I'd like to personally invite you. And do you have a friend? Would you like to bring a friend free of charge? And we're going to give you a VIP seat in the front with a nice little gold badge. And you're going to get to sit up front in the VIP section, reserved, front row. So now what happens? They want to bring a friend. What is this friend? This friend may be a potential client, because people hang around with other people, right, that are like-minded. Mm-hmm. So now you've got a prospect with you and that you are going to be able to talk to down the road, but you're showing them the environment. This person wants to feel kind of proud that he's got a special treatment to go to this event and that he gets VIP treatment. So now all of a sudden you're bringing them to this event, and at the event, you're giving them something of value. And the things of value are, let's just say, for example, we did one, I think I told you it was called Find It, Fund It, and Forget It. So we had a wholesaling company there, and they were talking about how they find deals. What's a good deal? What's a bad deal? How do they quantify a good deal? They're not selling their deals. They're just telling them what they do and how to identify what a good deal is, what a bad deal is. That was on the Find It. The Fund It was, we had a hard money lender there, and he was talking about how they go ahead and they fund deals for investors. And then the Forget It was us talking about how you forget about the deal and leverage it out. So there. Yeah.
So sorry, take it quick, because as an organizer of a conference, basically a suicide mission. Don't recommend it, but it's a lot of fun if you get it right. You have to curate the content. So just a real sort of maybe a little bit of advice. How do you pick the partners to come and speak, and how do you vet them? And is there a process there?
Yeah, so one of the things we do is we create strategic alliance with certain partners that are very like-minded to us. So these are people that we continually do events with. Number one, they got to have a database, right? Because we want their people to come. They have to have a reach. They have to have a sphere of influence that we can get in touch with. We want people that we wouldn't normally get in front of, right? So the people that we have partnered with, now we have a long-time relationship with both of these two sponsors. And we do events with them. They do events with us. So in the Houston area, we're very well known and they're very well known. So you want to have someone of equal level. We don't want it to be where they don't have any business and we're bringing all the game. They got to bring something to the table.
So if somebody's starting out, Steve, so a lot of our listeners here, I think aspire to do those events because that's a really good way to just get to know your clients and get more clients. And again, not fight in the bloody waters, but go in the blue ocean. But people don't know sort of where to start. Would good advice be find people who currently do events who relate to your industry, maybe reach out to them? How would you go about starting this?
Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to understand what a strategic alliance partner is. So a strategic alliance partner is someone who is in your industry, but not conflicting. So for example, a wholesaler, a plumber, an electrician, right? A lender, a title company, real estate agent. These are all people that are in our sphere of influence in our industry, but they're not competitors of ours. We actually complement each other. We have the same type of target, right? So whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that you have the same type of target. We know these guys, they have a great reputation. We've done a lot of stuff with them, and we kind of have co-branded ourselves with them over time. Now, the way you start it is you very simply, you can do it at your office with 20 people. It doesn't have to be this huge extravagant event. Okay. Now, couple things though, let me point out. What you want to do with these events is you want to have, now how big you are and how big you appear can be two different things, right? So it's how big you appear to them. What value are you bringing to them? So for example, what we do is we have sponsors for the event. These sponsors are people that have booths or have tables at the event, and they get 5 minutes to speak at the event, standard sponsor stuff, but they're the ones who pay for the show. They pay for the booze, they pay for the venue, and then they get time to speak. Now, think about this. If you were an investor that knew nothing about what was going on in the industry, or you were a client of ABC Property Management Company or Empire Property Management, and you're going, man, I'm going to this event. Empire's putting it on. They've got plumbers there. They've got electricians. They've got...
That's a big value add. I 100% see it. I would go.
It's huge because now they're sitting there saying, man, these people have a pretty big reach. The cost to us is basically zero because we're getting other vendors to pay for it. We're getting in front of other co-like people because the other people that we're speaking with, they need to bring as much to the table. They need to have as big of a database as we do. And they have to, again, we all have to be the ones that are, having the main goal. So it's got to align with it. You don't want to have someone up there that says you don't need a management company. You don't want those people. You want someone that their message is cohesive to your message. And, one thing you could do too is you could have an owner success story. So have one of your clients that's an owner say, hey, would you mind coming up and just speaking for a couple minutes about your success? So now all of a sudden you've got someone in there. Now you've got credibility and validity because you've got one of your clients. How proud is this guy going to be? And how much is he going to sing his praise saying, man, I'm asked to go speak. Like for our radio show, as like you said, we have our current owners on the radio shows every time. And we talk about, challenges and buying properties and what scared you and what was the difference from your first property to buying your fifth property and what's the goal. And again, that's an inspiring story for someone sitting in the back going, I could be that guy. Like that guy's just like me. He's not this quote unquote investor with 30, 40 properties. He's got 5 properties. He's got a 9-to-5 job. This is doable. And they're seeing like-minded people. They're seeing our clients mixing with us. They're seeing that environment and they're getting that culture to go, yeah, these guys are doing something. So it's something of value that it's a zero cost, but you're actually, think about it this way. What is the acquisition that you're getting of a referral of someone who comes with a buddy who's an A and B owner? Chances are they would be an A and B client. And they're coming and they're seeing all this going around. They're seeing people up there speaking. You're kind of creating your own buzz for zero cost.
Right.
And now you're taking that, you're putting it on Facebook, you're live streaming it, you're promoting it. If you go on our Facebook page, you'll see that when we promote these events, I mean, we blast it everywhere. I see. And it's yep. So those are things that you could do that you're creating a culture and an environmental, like a difference without any cost. It doesn't cost you. It could be a zero cost or it could be minimal cost depending how big you want to be. But it's just, you're tapping into a market that you wouldn't normally tap into. People people that come to this event may not think that they need property management. They may not even know if real estate's right for them. Then it goes, hey, could I talk to someone about helping me buy a property? Yeah, we can help you with that because we're a full brokerage. Okay, could you have maybe a free wealth building one-on-one strategy session? Yeah, we can help you with that. It's 30 minutes with Pete or myself. We'll talk to you. So you do these things of value to them. So all of a sudden, the objections that they have, you're canceling them out in a massive amount.
Yeah, I got you, man. You unpacked a lot of things. We laid them on the floor and we're playing with them. Let me try to put a little bow on a couple of things and sort of like for people who are looking to start. I think the key takeaways, and as I say this, please feel free to correct me. I think the key takeaways is, start with your clients. Those are the easiest people to bring in. Start with your A clients specifically. Go to Steve's advice. Rank your clients. Start with your A and B clients. Invite them over. Give them something of value. Include food and beverage and what have you. You can do it in your office, right? Or you can rent an office from a attorney buddy, right? A law firm that's specialized in real estate. You can use their space and use them as a speaker. So go in there. Strategic alliance, like align yourself with complementary businesses that serve the same constituents, right? Same as you mentioned, plumbers, attorneys. What else you got there? Rehab people, loans.
Well, and so real quick, Alex, a couple things on that. Number one, you could go to restaurants, and restaurants, as long as you buy food or appetizers, they'll give you the rooms for free. So you don't necessarily need to rent big spaces, but if you pay for food and appetizers, which are going to have something there, right? Drinks or something, you get a minimum, which is normally covered by the sponsors. They'll give you the space in the back, the room, and so you can find that there, depending on the size of the crowd, right? You got to test and measure where the crowd is. The other thing is when you're talking about other people, you have to identify who is the target that you may be going after that doesn't realize they're a target, and this may segue more into a marketing conversation.
That's fine. That's part of this, right? We got to put bodies in the seats.
Right. So one of the things you want to think about is, for us, we know who our target client is, right? We know exactly who our target client is. So our target client is 35 to 65 years old, makes over $75,000 a year. They have disposable income. They understand the value of leverage, and they like real estate. Okay. So we know that next thing we have to ask ourselves is, where does that guy hang out? And it's mostly male. Statistically, it's a male. So we say, okay, where does that person, statistically it's going to be a guy, where does that guy hang out? Where is he, right? Is he on LinkedIn? Is he at the roller rink? Is he at the mall? Where is he? And how do I put a marketing ad in front of them to entice them? Well, for us, think about this. Doctors, dentists, right? People that have expendable income, they fit all that category, right? Maybe financial planners, maybe advertising in those types of mediums to get in front of them. So there's ways to get in front of people that you're doing you Facebook retargeting, those kind of things. But
gotcha, yeah.
You have to ask yourself, how do you get in front of them? Having a financial planner speak at this event, they've got a large database of people that have expendable income that are looking to place funds.
Absolutely. How about CPA?
They make sense.
CPA could be a good one.
It goes on, architect design. There's all these associations, right? So one of the things we do is I go speak in, other states and stuff where price points are higher because they could buy 5 houses in Texas for what they buy 1 in Seattle. So what do? I go speak in Seattle and I redirect them here. Then I start finding out, okay, well, who are your friends? Who do you hang around with? I want to get in front of them, right? Now, again, that goes off a little bit from the owner education series, but again, you're targeting these people, let's say in your area on Facebook, and you're doing ads. Who do you want to go after? Who do you want at this event? I don't want the guy that doesn't have a job and he's looking to flip properties and he has no money. I want the guy who's an engineer that's making anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 a year that's saying, what is this real estate? I don't understand it. Well, come to our event. We'll explain it to you.
A lot of people like that. Especially here in Silicon Valley, man. My buddy, one of my best friends, Netflix engineer for life, has been there for as long as Netflix has been. He's seen the stock, balloon, and he's like worried about all this money in the stock market. So he's got on bigger pockets. He's like and he's engineer mind, right? So they're self-educating, right? They're self-educating, and that's his story, man. He just bought his first home, but it took him a year, But this sort of seminar like this can short circuit the process because he can meet the right people there at your seminar and sort of shortcut the process and go right into, doing the right decisions in getting into the freedom of passive income eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, you're it's like fishing in the ocean, right? Like Scott Brady said, it's the blue ocean, right? You're fishing in that ocean. You're just maybe you're using the wrong bait, and you're not seeing that, you don't know what the best fish is, so you're never going to catch it. If you don't know who your target client is, that target client's going to walk past you every single day, and you're not going to know he's a target. And other companies deal with that target client, so why not align yourself with them and say, hey, let's join forces. Let's do this event. And now don't forget, here's the other value. You got the plumber that sponsors it, right? Hey, it's I don't know, X dollars, $250 for you to have a table and you get 5 minutes to speak. Think of all the value that plumber is getting. Number one, he's getting in front of people that he wouldn't normally get in front of. So that's marketing. Would you pay $250 to talk to 200-300 people that are your target client? I would, right? I mean, we know acquisition cost per lead, cost per strategy. Yeah. That's a great cost per strategy to get them, right? Part of the deal is they get everyone who attends, they get the list, and then they can market to them, right? So anyone who attends, they can have the list. That's part of the gig, right? Now, think about this. Are you giving value to the people who are there? If I'm an investor and all of a sudden a plumber comes who's reputable, and you have a company like mine that manages, 900 houses, and we go, yep, this guy is a stand-up guy. He's the guy you should use if you need an AC guy. There's value there, right? Anyone in the audience is going, all right, that's good. They're giving value.
I mean,
so
this is
understated. Value can win.
This is understated. 30% of construction jobs right now are unfilled. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You can't find, I had my house here in near Yosemite, and 3,000 home little community. It was remodeled. The person who was doing the remodeling just left, just picked up and left, man. Whatever, he had other jobs somewhere else. And I can't find anybody. I literally would pay a referral fee to get introduced to somebody who can work on my house and finish. That's ridiculous what's going on. So that is, especially now, it's a huge value add to get some of these trade people who are quality, vetted, to meet, for the investors. I can see the value right there, man.
Well, yeah, and like I said, you're creating, again, the whole idea here is how does ABC Property Management get more clients? Well, think of everything that gets unpacked in this one night, right? There's a lot of value for everyone. Your current owners are seeing value. You're basically reinforcing to them that you are the company they want to do business with, right? Then what you're doing is you're showing a point of difference of anyone else out there. Because when we talk, people would say, when you're talking to these other companies, find out what day their owner education seminar series is. And they're like, they're what? You're like, exactly. Exactly my point. They don't even know what it is because they don't do it. So do you want, and our thing is, do you want to be transactional or do you want to have a relationship with the company? Do you want to make smart decisions or do you want someone to ring the cash register? Because that's what it boils down to. We're here to help you make smart decisions in your investing strategy. This is part of the education process that you need to go through. Do you want someone to ring the cash register? Probably not the right company for you because we're trying to make you as a smart investor, not just someone who takes your money. And by doing that, our proof is in the pudding. We have owner education series. We open up our vendors to you, right? We have other people come in to talk to you about being a smart investor. Construction people, plumbers, inspectors. I mean, and so you can pair this up. And, again, when it goes to this owner education series, you can have, 20-minute segments. Each speaker gets 20 minutes. So, you set it up where you have the first 30 minutes is mixers and happy hour and drinks, cocktails. Then 2 sponsors speak, 5 minutes, 20-minute conversation, or 20-minute presentation, rather. Sponsor speak, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. So now you're an hour and 30 into it. You start at 5:30, Now you're into 5:30, then you're into 30 minutes, so you're into 6, then you're into 6:30. Then the last one, speak, right? And then 30 minutes. So you can get 6 sponsors at $250 each. That's $1,000 to cover the cost. Probably should cover the cost.
That's for the larger event. Yeah, that sounds like the math really works. Let's scale it down again. For somebody who's just starting out, would you recommend sponsors right off the bat, or would you recommend to sort of self-finance this for a little while and just bring the speakers in?
I think the sponsors add depth to your roster. I think the sponsors are good because it's showing that you have validity. When you have a plumbing company there, you have a title company, you have a financial planning company. They want to sponsor it. They want to get in front of these people. It's value all the way around. So I don't see a reason. I think it's better. I think it looks more professional and you have more depth to your roster by having these professional people. They don't have to have a booth if they don't want to have a booth or a table, or they can just stand there and pass things out and mix with people. If it's small and you just have 5-10 people, you can just have them there talking. But again, I think it starts adding value because, we do them every quarter. And so every quarter you got to change the topic, right? And maybe even change out some sponsors. So you want to rotate all these people through, and you want to make it so that the topic is good. And then after, I would do a survey. You do a survey of everyone who went. What did you like? What did you not like? What would you like to hear again at the next event? What topics would you like to hear? Like one time, everybody wanted to hear the story of Pete and I about how we messed up so bad buying houses when we first got into this. That's what they all wanted to hear. They said, we want to hear your guys' story. So we did an owner education that talked about our screw ups and how we messed up and all the problems we had. And that was an owner education, and they loved it. So, but we wouldn't have known that if we didn't do a survey and ask them. But don't forget, that's the way. You got to remember, the whole reason you're doing this is to get more clients. That's the whole reason. You got to remember the reason for having it. You're trying to get more clients. So how do you do that? It's the follow-up after. Hey, let's have a one-on-one strategy session with you. Let's talk about what you learned. Let's kind of unpack this, you and I, a quick 30 minutes. But the goal is to get them, what people don't understand is the cheapest client acquisition is getting your current clients to purchase more. So if every one of your clients bought one more property, you would double the size of your business.
That makes sense.
With zero acquisition costs, right? You would decrease your acquisition cost of what it currently costs you. So the question is how do you do that? Well, you do that by adding value, and now you just that's kind of the top of the funnel, right? It's all about, we know funnels and stuff, but that's the top of the funnel, right? That you just got them back into the funnel, you re-engaged them, and now, again, you have a success story about a client who was with your company and bought more properties. So you're putting that in their filter as to their reticular activating system, right? Because all of a sudden now they're thinking about that, like, and part of the survey could be, you could have a 3 or 5 question survey. Are you happy in your current investing career? Are you where you thought you wanted to be at this stage in your life in investing? Would you like to purchase more properties without doing anything, right? What are you doing? You're funneling them to where you want them to go, which is have a conversation with you about, how do I buy more properties? How do I get more investing? Because we all know it doesn't work with one property, right? Most of the time they buy one property, maybe 2 or 3, and then they fizzle out. But if you said, hey, I could help you quadruple your net worth and double your income without lifting a finger, and I can do it, you don't have to do a thing. We can help you make acquisitions, whether you do it internally or you sub it out to someone else. We can help you make smart decisions. We can advise you whether or not it's a good deal or bad deal. Then we can take it, we can get it ready, we can get it rented, and we can get you, and you don't do a thing. Hands off. They're going to go, okay, because that's part of your goal. You got to re-engage. The problem, I think, a lot of management companies is, it's kind of like realtors. They're so focused on getting the first client, they keep moving on and they never go back to that first client to re-engage them. Most of these people get into investing and they know they're not going to be successful with one door. They know it's going to take 5 to 10, because when you first talk to people, you know how it is. I want to buy 20 properties. They get to like 3 and then they fade off. So then you're like, okay, well, what happened? Like you wanted all these. Now you don't have that many. What went wrong? And they go, well, life happened. I had a kid, a job, and this and that. You're like, but they still have the money. They still have the desire. They just don't have that funnel. Now you're kind of recharging them. And that's what this owner education series is doing. You're kind of shaking the trees of your own trees to get your current owners to keep buying and bring your acquisition cost and price per lead and all that down. But you've got the lead. And then the next thing is you put them on a drip campaign. You use something like Jordan software, and you get them going on the drip campaign, and you start re-engaging them about why appreciation, net, equity capture, you start sending them information on that. Now you're re-engaging them to buy properties and getting them energized as to why it makes sense.
So it sounds like, right, you have to have well-formed, you have to have content in place that is helpful and that you can trickle or drip to them, right, past the initial engagement and try to engage them one-on-one. But I imagine you also not only you sort of reactivate your existing clients, but you will also get a good number of prospect leads, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because don't forget, what are you doing with this? I'm going to have to change headphones here in a second. What are you doing with that? You're also, hang on a second.
Sure. So while Steve is changing his headset, I think his Apple iPods are battery died. Is that what happened?
Yeah. I've been doing script training with my team and other stuff. So can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, actually, it sounds really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that what you forgot is you're having your A and B clients bring a friend.
Right.
There's a reason for that. Now you're trying to set up a consultation with their friend. Hey, why don't we just talk? Obviously, you're interested in real estate. Let's have a quick conversation about it. Let's see if maybe it's right for you. What are your concerns? What's stopping you? What are your goals? Now you have and the whole thing you're doing, again, this is the top of the funnel. The next thing you're doing is you're having a conversation with them to talk to them and say, okay, first thing you do is, what are the goals? Why would you even like real estate? You came to this event because of a reason. What is that reason? Now you start going, okay, what are the goals? Where do you see yourself in 20 years? Tell me what your life looks like. Well, I see myself having, 10 properties at $10,000 a month cash flow. Okay. So what's the strategy? And that's Disneyland, right? That's where we're going to Disneyland. Now, what's the strategy to get you? What are the freeways we're going to take? Well, we got to take the 5 freeway and the 405 and the 91, and that's how we're going to get to Disneyland. So, okay, so we got to buy this property, then we got to buy that property. Maybe you have to refinance a property, maybe get a positive geared property, a negative geared property, but you come up with a strategy. Now you are adding so much value to this client, they're going to go, I'll pay whatever fee I have to pay. It's irrelevant because the value these guys are giving me, no one else is going to give. No one else does owner education series. No one else has a wealth strategy building session. And one of the things that you should also do for the people listening is re-engage them after a year or two. A lot of people are so afraid to ask to talk to their clients and go, hey, how's it going? Are you where you want to be? No? Why? Is your property performing the way you thought it would perform? People say, I don't want to do that. They may fire us. Well, look, if they're going to fire you, they're going to fire you. That conversation either way is not going to have anything to do with it. But you want to be able to engage them and have that conversation to know, okay, is this something that makes sense for us to do and get you on the path? So now you're having the strategy session and they're finding their what is the property that they like. So they may say, I want to get something with 10% equity. I want a 6% appreciation. I want this, I want that. Okay, those are the parameters. Now when a deal comes across, they say, is this a good deal or bad deal? And I tell them, I don't know. Let's go and see if this aligns with your goals.
That's very good, yeah.
It may be a good deal, but it doesn't align with you. And that's, I've had conversations with, a lot of people from California obviously come to Texas and buy property. And they're looking at some of these deals like I had one guy, he wanted to buy a 30-unit complex. And it was a low-income complex up in our Fort Worth office. And he was asking me about it, and we started talking. And I said, look, it's not that it's a bad deal, but based on what your goals are, it's not a good deal for you. And here's why. And I laid it out to him, and he was like, man, I never really thought about that. But he's like, actually, he goes, now that you mention it, all those things make sense. So I tell him, I said, listen, if you just want me to ring the cash register and say, yeah, buy it, I can do that. But I'm not being a good partner to you. Part of this is it has to work for both of us.
Earn a client for life with consultation, consultative, and care about them. At the end of the day, we'll position you as a lifelong partner, and that's how many referrals are you going to get over time. Yeah, so you and I both are very, very aligned on this, on the mindset of providing more value than anyone else. Part of the reason why I'm doing the podcast, you're doing a lot of different things, including owner series. It is going to financially benefit us, but it's a long game.
It's a very long game.
And one of the things that, this is Pete, I'm going to throw this out there, but I hope it's not controversial for you, but Pete and I got into a discussion at, what was it called? Broker Owner. You were not there. And he's like, well, what's the point of doing seminars if we don't know what the ROI is? And I see Pete isn't he numbers guy? Is he numbers guy?
Very numbers.
My John. It's like operations. It's like what's the value? What's the ROI? Like I need the ROI right here. That's fine. I understand that. And we track our customer acquisition costs. This is a long play, isn't it? This is not. I think you can realize the ROI out of this over a period of maybe 6 months, maybe even a little bit longer. and it's not that easy to track all of it.
Well, there's
How
a
do you
difference.
justify it?
Yeah, so that's a good question because it's funny. You know, we'll do an event, right, that we're sponsoring or we're doing, and Pete will say, "That's great. How many leads did we get?" Like, we just did it last night. You know, yeah, but how many contracts did we get from it?
Yeah.
And there's a difference between direct marketing and branding. So a lot of this is branding. You know, it's you're creating a sphere of influence and you're creating that environment that people say, you know what, that's the company to go to. They're the ones I don't believe that it's going to be a one-time one and done. And Pete's more of a one and done. Like, well, we had a conversation. Why should we ever talk again? We talked once. We should never talk again, right? That's how he thinks in his mind, right? Well,
right.
you know, what's the reason? And my thing is, well, we set up the first phase of our relationship, and now we're going to phase 2, and this could be a 6-month courting process with you. And a lot of people, to me, it's the continual. All of a sudden, they're going like, man, like people that know about us and Empire and me, they go, man, I just keep seeing you guys popping up everywhere. You know, it's that repetition, and I think the repetition is the key. I don't think it's the quick in and out, and that's just, you know, Pete and I have a difference of opinion of that. Luckily, I get to win that battle. But you know, he feels like, you know, why it's a one and done. Why keep going?
Well,
like,
that's a good balance between you two, right? That's a good balance. Because if he let you just be in the sky all the time, I think that would not be good also, right?
It would not be good. It would not. We joke, if it was up to me, we would have probably 5,000 doors and it would be like chaos. Nobody would pay. Everybody would be running crazy. If it was up to him, he would have 2 properties. Nobody would talk to him, but it would run smooth and efficient, and it'd be a perfect scenario. So we meet somewhere in between, right? And you have to have that, you know, that, I don't know if you ever read that book, Rocket Fuel. You have the visionary and you have the integrator. Very, very similar. I'm the visionary. He's the integrator, right? And you have to have that balance. So, you know, when we talk about doing these events, you know, people say, well, what's the acquisition cost for every client at this owner education series? It's like, I don't know. We have a lot of our current owners there that are going to repurchase. So how do you factor that into the cost?
Yeah, but you can, if you're really sort of purposeful about it, you could probably go and really sort of dig into it and understand it. But I think it's going to take some time. And at the end of the day, this is a branding play, as you said, but it's also a branding play that pays for itself and provides a massive upside. Massive.
And
right?
One of the things that you could do too, especially like with Facebook, is you can have we have a Empire client only investor Facebook group, right? So that's something that they're getting of value, that they're finding out about this first. Again, in this Facebook group, you can have deals before they hit the MLS. They go into this group. It's only our clients that get it. No one else sees it, right? Maybe we're going to say, hey, we're going to, you know, for the first person that responds gets a free wall painted in their rental property when it comes vacant. Free, we'll paint 1 room for free. Mm-hmm. First person that responds to something. Again, it's just first person that shares it, first person that brings a client. You know, you're getting that tribe that, again, goes back to that club mentality where they're getting these things. When we stream it, we may stream it only to the investor group, or certain specials are only streamed to the investor group, and then we'll turn it on for everyone else. So again, you're wanting them to feel like they are a part of something. And again, the biggest key here is to get your A and B clients to feel that special, that they want to go and they want to bring their friends, because everybody likes to brag, right? And that's the key, is you want them bragging about you to their friends. You know, the 5 people you hang around with, you make $2,000 to $3,000 on average, and you probably think alike. So those are the people you want to have in front of you to be able to brag to, and have that conversation.
Well, man, this was an amazing topic. This is one of the. Well, I love talking to you in a lot of different ways. One of the ways is on our podcast interview, I have to speak a lot less. Because you sort of just, you laying that value and dude, I had this whole thing planned out, right? So I was going to talk about, you know, the content of the seminars and the marketing of the seminars and who to speak. And I have this whole plan laid out, and you just kind of went through it naturally without me having to even ask the questions. So that's awesome, man. Thanks for making my job easy and our audience the ultimate winner, because this was very, very good. And I'm actually going to borrow some of this for my business. And Steve, thanks a lot for really sort of dissecting this and giving us a model here. How can people reach you if they want to talk to you? Maybe they want to, I don't know, reach out to you, ask you questions. Maybe they want to get some consultation from you. How do they reach out to you?
Yeah, so they can just email me direct, Steve at empireindustriesllc.com, or they can go to our website, empireindustriesllc.com, or Facebook. And, the one thing that I will say that Pete and I think do a very good job of is, when we were learning, we had so many people help us. When we first started going to NARPM, I remember we met you. We met a lot of people that were very, very nice to us and helped us out. Brad Larson's, Kevin Knights of the world, Eric Weatherington, so many guys that were just so helpful to us when we started. If people have questions, we're very good at helping them out and giving tips. And, to us, we don't think that, we're a success, on our own. We think we're successful because of all the people that helped us and that we've learned from. So, I mean, if we can help people out, we have no problem giving our advice and our tips. We have people that come to our office. They say, hey, can I come by your office and check out what you guys do? It's an environment, it's a community. I think all of us have that. There's not many of us, right? And there's not many of us that are really, really succeeding. And I don't see myself as one of those guys that's super succeeding, but I think I'm one of those guys that's in the trenches that every day is battling. And it's
success in the making. That's what I say.
It's in the making, yeah. And you and I talk a lot. And
we're shovels, man. We're shoveling. It's not all roses. But hey, those of you guys listening, let me just interpret a few things. If you knew, NARPM is National Association of Residential Property Managers. Highly recommend you associate yourself with NARPM if you're not already. Exceptional organization. What a way to really sort of build a business, get started, and really not make the same mistakes, over and over again. Learn from somebody who knows how to do it. Organization is great. Brad Larson runs the Mastermind Property Management Podcast. Definitely look that up. Very deeply in industry guy, operator of a successful business. Definitely an entrepreneur. Been there, done that. And of course, I highly recommend you follow Steve's company, Empire Industries LLC, on Facebook. I do that to kind of see what is going on and how he runs his business. A lot of it is very transparent, and I like that a lot. Like yesterday, I saw a show. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I saw a show of one of the salespeople who lost a bet, and it was drinking a shake with sardines and spam and wasabi.
Yeah, it was that. Well, it was what it was.
I was entertaining, man. He was throwing up in a garbage can. It was amazing. Great video.
It was the new sales manager, and he bet the sales team that they couldn't hit the number, and the number was like 30 properties, where we're hitting like in the 40s right now. So they were like, you're on. So I think we closed 42 properties last month or something like that. And so they all got to pick what was going to go in the drink. So everyone on the sales team got to pick a product, and he did it. I give him credit, man. He did. So now my best was 61 doors in a month. So they're trying to get 62 doors so that they can have me make the drink, which I really don't want to do. But
I look forward to seeing that on Facebook. So guys, if you want to see how to run sort of a fun and fast growing shop, go to Steve's, follow his Facebook, check that stuff out. Steve, again, we got to end this because we'll never end if we don't just mean to say our goodbyes, because I think the next topic is inspiring the team and running a company, and sort of running the team and inspiring and really sort of making that a culture of success. I think you're good at that, so I'd like to dig into that on future episodes. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Steve, thank you very much for all your wisdom. See you soon.
Bye-bye. See you guys.